Hi, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Kerbal Beginner's Guide. For this one, I just want to show you how you can gain a lot of money and reputation and science points in between doing main missions. There's a lot of missions you can do within the control side, which will help you get along. Because like going to the moon, we'll be doing that at some later stage. Also, I want to show you how to rendezvousing with other vessels in orbit, for example, so that you can connect them, and then you can, I don't know, switch fuel. Like you can refuel at certain stations, or you can switch out your crew, or other parts that need to be replaced. And this one, we need to gain a bit more money and stuff like that, so we can start improving. So for this one, I'm just going to show you two missions that I've selected to gain a bit more money, a bit more reputation. So down here, one of which is science data from space around Kerbin. So I'm going to use this vessel and record the temperature and send it back to Earth. That'll give me extra points for whatever this mission will allow me to get. And the other one that I want to do is, ferry a VIP safely to our destination and back. Okay, so this is a tourist paying me a lot of money because they want to go to space. This one in particular wants to orbit around Kerbin, so I have to complete that. Then I'll gain money and reputation points for bringing that person up there. There's a lot of missions like this, small missions that will, just gives you extra money, extra reputation. Reputation gives you better missions over the long haul of the game. More money as well. So we'll start with this one. As you can see, my money's quite high in comparison to maybe the last videos, but that's because I've been doing small missions like this, and I just want to show you this one. I'm combining two missions in this case, so I'm taking the VIP up to space, and I'm also collecting science data. If you can combine missions, that's great, but don't overwhelm yourself with that. It's just like this one's quite easy because I only have to do a few clicks while I'm in space to get those extra points. So at this point, let's launch. So I've used this craft a few times before, worked quite well, so I don't expect to run into any problems. Okay, usual flight checks. So I'm going to turn on my SAS, throttle up, maybe slightly down for the beginning. The first launchers anyway, the first boosters on this are just solid rocket boosters anyway, so they're going to burn out anyway. But this, my second engine, is in a liquid fuel engine, so I can control the throttle. I'll just put it down slightly because I don't want to be too fast when I reach the 10,000. I want to be under 350 meters per second, otherwise I'm wasting a lot of energy, as am I also, I can cause my ship damage as well if I'm too fast under 10,000 meters. So at this point, let's get going. So yeah, this person down here, by the way, is not a pilot. This is a tourist. I've already put the ship. I'm using the Probodobodyne to control the vessel itself. Alright, and let's get going. Okay, at this point in time, it's only the solid boosters that are going. My next stage will activate the liquid engine and decouple these two on the side. Okay, I'm slightly pushing towards the east, or to my right, so that I can get the right direction going. Okay, let's check. My speed is okay, so I can probably accelerate up. Okay, hold this position on my nav ball for now, slightly right or straight up, or east should I say, because that then will then follow the curvature, or the way there, the direction the Earth is turning in. So I've reached 350 at around 10,000. That was pretty optimal. So I'll start slightly making a turn by about 10, 20, 30 degrees. So now I'm at about 10 degrees, 16,000. That's good. That's what I want to see. So this is where my nose is pointing. This thing is where my ship is actually heading at the moment. trajectory. Trajectory is good, so I want to keep my trajectory about 75 when I reach about 30. So that's where I want to be, my actual trajectory. Good, I'm quite happy with that. Okay, when I reach about 36,000, I want to be a bit further down again. I want my trajectory to be approximately 45 degrees, maybe a bit higher. There we go. Okay, now I can quickly check the map, see what my trajectory is actually looking like. Yeah, it's a bit steep again, but that's fine. I'll just start aiming towards the horizon. Okay, first rocket's depleted. That, and keep going. So the arc is a bit high, but that's okay. For now, I can actually shut off the engine. I'm going to allow myself to go a bit higher. Preferably, I would like this to be lower, probably about 75,000 or so, and the arc to be longer. It's yeah, it just wastes less fuel, but I've got more than enough fuel for this mission, so I'm not too fussed. But yeah, I want to usually try and get a bit lower down, a bit further out, that kind of angle. So this not quite as high, but I'm in space anyway, and I think the tourists should be somewhat happy. Alright, because I've got a bit of time to waste. Like I know to get around the Earth, I probably need a few more minutes, a few 30 seconds burn maybe or something, probably less. But if I want to know exactly, all I have to do is place a marker on the apoapsis, add maneuver, and so this is my flight planning mode. So I'm putting a circle around the Earth for my flight plan, and what I've done now is now I can see. Okay, periapsis is 128, so that's a bit much, and 93 apoapsis. So or periapsis. So this will allow me to get to orbit and complete the mission for the tourists. So my burn time in total is 16 seconds. So what I'm going to want to do is start at minus 8 seconds and burn through to plus 8 seconds from the moment I reach the node that I've created. So for now, I can probably even open the service bay and record the temperature. Where's the temperature gauge? There it is. Log my temperature and send it back to Earth. Okay, so that will be that one mission complete. At this point, I'll get ready for the next move that I've already planned. So burn time 16 seconds, I want half that, so I'll start at minus 8 seconds. Go. See what my flight plan is showing me, how much speed I need to reach that plan that I've created. And turn it off. There we go. The camera tilt that you've seen, that lets you know that you've reached an orbit. Doesn't necessarily mean you're in the orbit around Earth yet, because if your trajectory is still too low, you would technically be in orbit, but if you're too low, you'll get dragged down by the atmosphere again. So you want to double check just to make sure. In this case, my periapsis is 93,000, apoapsis 151, so I'm well into orbit. No problem whatsoever. So this vessel, as such, would stay in space forever. Okay. So okay, I've completed the first part of the mission, which was yeah, sending space data back to Earth. And actually, I've got my Kerbal in orbit. Now all I have to do now is bring them back safely. So, not going to waste much time about it. Like, it'd be nice for them probably to get a nice tour around the Earth, but they paid to get into orbit. They're in orbit, so they're coming back down. I will wait a little bit so that we can land the sunny side of Kerbal. So yeah, so at this point, that's good enough. I will face my retrograde marker. So yeah, I'm going around the Earth counterclockwise. I'm aiming clockwise around the Earth because that's how I'll slow down, by aiming my retrograde marker. And let's accelerate a bit. And that was all the fuel that was left, but that's fine. That will be enough to bring me back to Earth. As you can see, it's going to bring me back down here somewhere, but that's without the drag of the atmosphere, so I'll probably land somewhere here in real life or something, depending on where my entry point is, but that'll be very soon. Let's get rid of the engine, don't need that anymore. And at this point, sit back and wait until we re-enter. So I'll speed up time a bit. Tourist is loving it. What a view that would have to be. Seeing something like this as well would be pretty cool. Massive crater. Turn my vessel slightly, because you do want, when you hit the atmosphere, you would want to make sure it is your heat shield that hits it first. Hitting it like that, yeah, not great. So make sure you see with your retrograde which part is the line that you're going to be heading back down to Earth. This does change, of course, because we're still moving around the Earth, so this will keep dropping and dropping. As you can see here, this line, so technically at the moment what I'm facing is this direction, but as you can see, it doesn't stay in a straight line. It starts going down, so I just have to keep adjusting now and again. So yeah, I'll adjust again slightly. I do have to be careful with such a mission as well, because there's no pilot on board. This is all being done by the Providobodyne, which requires battery power, so always keep an eye on that. At this point I've got more than enough. I made sure that I've got enough extra battery, so I have no worries there. Okay, music stopped. That means we're back in the atmosphere, or yeah, just touching upon it. So we will start to see drag eventually, probably about 50,000, maybe a bit sooner. It always depends on your speed. The faster you go, the more drag you'll see of the particles that you're bouncing off air and all that. So yeah, that starts burning, starts getting very hot. Once you reach a certain amount, I can turn off the SES, because the ship will naturally guide itself down due to the shape of it. It shouldn't flip. This is the heavy side, and yeah, so as long as I keep it within the retrograde marker, it should be okay. Even then, once I deactivate SAS, which I'll do now, it should stay stable. It'll start to rock back and forth a little, but nothing that should flip the whole machine. Yeah, as you can see, there's the drag. So if I go back to map mode, you'll see this is where I was supposed to land. This was the estimated area to land, but due to the drag, this line is going to become smaller and smaller and smaller. Yeah, this line's shrinking. It's over here initially, now it's getting smaller and smaller, but the speed that we're going, I think we'll be hitting the water anyway. Yeah, we're not going to slow down enough to land on land, but that's fine. You can still be recovered. Yeah, definitely on the water. Over there is the debris that I launched off last time, so the last rocket, last booster. It's over there. It's way faster than me. because it's not shaped to aero brake the way we are. So that's already 17 kilometers away, 18 kilometers, 19. It's very fast. Well, we're getting quite slow at this point because our aero brakes work quite well. Okay, drogue chutes. They weren't really necessary, but why not? Bit of an experience for the tourists. Could be interesting. Give them a bit of a panic. Cut one of them off. Oh no! There's a bit of wobble going on. Houston, we have a problem. All that. You've got to excite the tourists. She's smiling anyway. She doesn't really not caring. Happy out. Speeding up time a bit. So the drogue chute on its own would not be enough to land this vessel. Slows it down quite a bit. Let's have a look. 40, 30, 36 meters per second. That's fast. 36 meters per second. It's hitting the ground quite hard. So what I'm going to do is I'll open the chute. I think these vessels only last something like 10 meters per second of impact speed, so always keep an eye out on that for when landing. This chute is no longer required. Stroke chute, let's cut it off. And as we have the big one already anyway. So as you can see here, surface towards the surface, 7 meters per second, so I should have no worries there. It doesn't matter if you're landing on land or splashing the water. If you're at a certain over the speed, tolerated speed of the object, it will break. So keep an eye on that. Make sure you have the right chute for the right job. And touchdown. Okay, back on the ground, or well, back to the Kerbal, and recover vessel. Okay, so with this, I gained 0 science apparently. Got some money back from returning and 0 reputation from the flight itself. But we did complete a few missions, so let's have a look. Completed contract, gave us 22,000, some science, some reputation. Data from around Kerbal again, money, science, reputation. Money for getting around in the orbit, not much, but something. So there's another easy 12,000 as such, and 19 reputation points, which is quite nice. Okay, so she was happy, mission went well, reputation points went up. And after doing such a thing, you'll start to notice the missions will become, you'll get more missions along the same lines. Probably like this one, they want 2 tourists to fly to a certain destination. So you just have to add an extra seat, and you can, and they get difficult as well. Like this one, they want to orbit the moon. These 2 guys. So yeah, just go through these types of missions, and it'll build your money quite a bit. It'll build your reputation, some science points if it's a science mission, and that way you can start building your points up so that you can have the right materials so that you can do the moon flight or do your rendezvous flights, because the more science you have, the more technology you've researched, the easier it's going to get. So you want to make sure that you do have enough amount of money. You don't want to start running out and have to cheap out on a rocket that's going to the moon, because that will end up in failure. Make sure you're prepared. So yeah, that's this for this one. Thanks for watching.